Tom Brady and NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell failed to reach a settlement in the quarterback's appeal of his 4-game suspension. Both Brady and NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell appeared in court on Monday. For weeks, the judge had urged them to settle their differences over Brady's role in the so-called Deflategate scandal, but neither side was willing to budge. Senior NFL writer for CBSSports.com, Will Brinson, is on the phone with us right now. So, Will, I guess, first of all, what happened today in court?
Well, what happened was the two sides sat down with Judge Richard Berman and tried to figure out if there was a way they could reach a settlement, and they effectively decided that the middle ground that they needed to reach in order to find a compromise was not reachable for either party. Basically, the NFL wanted Tom Brady to admit culpability or admit that he did something wrong in this whole process. Tom Brady is unwilling to do that, and the NFL is unwilling to walk away from the possibility of a suspension without Brady admitting that. So they kind of reached a point where no one was going to budge any further, and and I think they explained that to the judge who conveyed it. He said they worked hard in negotiations, but at the end of the day, they just couldn't find a compromise, and so now he's set to make a ruling, which is either going to be all or nothing for one of the sides.
And it's interesting. I mean, you'd think it would be in both of their interests to negotiate this settlement instead of going with the all or nothing, whatever the judge says. Are you surprised it's gotten to this point?
Not really. I mean, think about it like this. If Tom Brady were, and there were rumors about what the NFL offered, but I mean, let's just say they agreed to split it in half and say, all right, Tom, you admit you did something maybe wrong, and you sit out 2 games, and we won't pursue the full 4 games. Well, that's not going to be a win for Tom Brady, and you're not going to see the NFL just give it up completely. Tom Brady wanted to simply take the ideal world for him was he gets a heavy fine, and he gets fined because he didn't cooperate with the investigation, or and it didn't have to do with Deflategate. I don't think he was willing to. The NFL wasn't willing to accept that, and Tom Brady wasn't willing to accept culpability for actually deflating the footballs, and that sort of became a breaking point for negotiations.
The NFL keeps saying this is all about integrity, but doesn't this, at the end of the day, make the league look bad in some way, in that their kind of internal justice system has been exposed?
Well, yes and no. We knew that this. Well, I mean, yes. Does the process look bad for the NFL? Yeah, sure. Roger Goodell issued the 4-game suspension, and then he's the guy who's ruling on it. And I think Judge Richard Berman, this is what he's going to struggle with when he makes his decision. It would be very difficult for a judge in a court of law to look at the process involved with what the NFL did here and to agree that Roger Goodell was anything close to a neutral arbitrator. I find it difficult for the NFL or Roger Goodell to even say that they are neutral, just based on facts. But the NFLPA, unfortunately, for the union and the players, agreed to allow Roger Goodell to have this power in the last collective bargaining agreement. And that's really the crux of what Berman will deal with in making his decision. Will he be willing to override a binding labor agreement between a union and a corporation? And then, that would be really bad news for the NFL if he is willing to do that, or will he uphold the arbitration even though he disagrees with it? And I don't think anybody knows. I don't know if Judge Berman knows at this point. Certainly he has a lot to weigh, but it really could go either way at this point.
Well, it's definitely an interesting case. NFL writer Will Brinson, thanks so much.
Anytime.